Welcome to this week's direct-to-consumer coffee shop. I'm Charlie. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss things. Please comment below with your favorite parts. Timestamp the things that you like. Please feel free to follow all the people we have on this show and engage as much as you can with all this stuff. Share it with your friends. This is Black Friday live. Today we have, fun stuff happening. I hope you guys are hearing, the lovely sounds of money. I hope you're just hearing this all fucking day. This is just Shopify. This is just what money sounds like. In case you guys, I hope this is what your day is like. Anyway, with that all being said, thank you guys so much for being here. Once again, my name is Charlie. We're going to have on Daniel, which we'll get into him, as well as welcoming on old friends Dylan and Brent. So with that being said, please comment if you have any questions, subscribe to stuff. It means the world. Smash the like button so we get higher up on all the things. And with that being said, let's welcome a new friend to the show and somebody that has been a part of our lives for a long time, even though we didn't even know it. With that being said, let me welcome Daniel to the show. Daniel, it's great to get to see you, my man. I've been cyber stalking you a little bit since Brent brought you into the circle. I love it, but for the purpose of this conversation, do you mind just letting the people know all about what it is that you're doing right now? Because I think it's super rad, and a little bit maybe about where you came from.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, by the way. It's good to.
You're welcome.
I'm excited. I'm not going to lie, I've got some Shopify dashboards up. I might be checking throughout the call just to check on how things are going. But
who doesn't like that nice dopamine hit? Of course.
Exactly. So I'm founder, CEO of Mint Performance Marketing. We're a full-service performance agency. We're part of Social Chain Group. We got acquired earlier this year, which was super exciting. We're a 30-person team. We do creative, influencers, paid, email, SMS. Working with some really cool brands, great team. Been going for about just over 2.5 years. So loving everything we're doing. It's been a big week for us, a busy week, as I'm sure it is for everybody else who's listening to this and on this call. I guess the long story is that I've been in the industry for a while. I joined MySpace in 2004. I was super early in the MySpace game, super early in the social digital space. Knew nothing. Was given a random opportunity to come in and kind of learn all about digital and social, and loved it, was bitten by the bug, and just threw myself in head first. So I was at MySpace for a couple of years, account management, working with the Group M agencies, doing everything in terms of all the managing brands, advertising on MySpace, influencer partnerships, which wasn't called influencer marketing back in the day. It was just called partnerships, but it's been going for a little while. Was there for about 5-6 years, went to AOL, was an account manager on their performance network, as well as their owned and operated properties. That was a fun experience. AOL at the time was a beast. I'm not too sure what they're up to anymore, but it was a fun ride. And then I joined a company called Turn. We were a DSP, DMP, and kind of strategy agency. They moved me to the US 8 years ago. I was head of strategy for the West Coast. I worked with Adidas, Disney, Red Bull, Kraft, Toyota, Lexus, Del Monte on their digital and social programmatic strategy and execution. So big budgets. It was a wild ride. It was fun times. Learned an absolute ton. Got my green card and thought, I think I know enough to do this maybe for myself. Mint started as just me consulting with a couple of my friends' brands, learned how to scale them, learned how to apply everything I learned with billion-dollar budgets and multi-million-dollar budgets on less than that, and kind of, honed the craft of scaling DTC and e-commerce brands.
I love it. So you joined MySpace back before half of us, I don't know, Dylan might not even have been out of high school yet. I don't know. This is good. What's that?
I'm 36, so I'm not that
I'm 37. So yeah, you and I contemporaries in this game. I like it. That's great, man. Well, thank you very much for being here. I love having some folks that have been in the game for a long time. It's often that some of us that have been around the horn a few times. I always get to talk to some other folks, and that's good. and for some perspective too, let's bring in Dylan, somebody that has been on the show a couple times, and we've had more of a mention, and he's what I would consider, the next generation of folks that are spending 5-figure daily budgets. I think if I accurately can reflect Dylan's Twitter profile, he's around 20 to 40K a day in spend, something along those lines. Is that accurate? Is that a fair statement, Dylan?
Oh yeah. We're like at 55K a day right now. So but on average, I would say normally like 35K. But yeah, it's across a couple different brands. Of course, I really only work with 8 to 10 brands at one time. So I have 3 or 4 just whales, and it's just a blast with them. So can't complain at all. But yeah, today is pretty much just a budget play day. It's weird. Everything I scheduled is kind of shit in the bed. I feel like all the evergreen stuff's working good, but hey, I'm glad I left them up. So it's been a fun morning so far. I woke up extra early, which I never do. So.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's bring in our other friend, Brent. Hey, Brent, how are you doing this morning? Did you wake up extra early to check your stuff, or would you, like me? I'll be fair. I slept in. I let the dogs out. I had coffee. I hit refresh on a dashboard about 3 minutes before this call. I was like, cool, 50K, awesome, done. I'm good for the day. The store works, cool. So the last month of work that I've done, I'm just gonna let it go. Are you in the day trading camp, or in the let Jesus take the wheel camp?
I have the added benefit of not actually having to manage any of the shoelace clients that we have. So it's a pretty much like a regular day for me. And I know that that's painful for the rest of you. I'm checking in on what they're doing, but I know that they got it. So I'm not overly concerned, but I will say that everybody's been saying that all their evergreen stuff is crushing, and the BFCM messaging, not so much.
Yeah. So I love that. Let's maybe go around the horn real quick. Was just some BFCM stuff, because I think everybody's interested in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday thing. It is, I guess, happenstance a Black Friday episode because we're on Black Friday right now. So maybe we'll go in reverse order. Brent, you kind of already told what's going on. Dylan, for you, what's the workload looking like? Well, actually, no, Brent, we'll let you go first. We'll go back in reverse order. When did you launch your Black Friday stuff? And let's just start there. When did you launch your Black Friday stuff? And about how much management do you think you're going to put into it today? And are you happy?
So Shoelace has about 400 clients. So when you're like, when did you launch? Every day? My hope is that the majority of them would have launched at least 2 to 3 weeks ago. We've been talking about, I think the last time we were on, we talked about running lead ads, just to garner emails ahead of time, and try and build your sessions up so you can just go straight into retargeting during this, versus trying to go out and prospect against the entire world.
Yeah.
Generally we advise our clients to have their shit ready to go in the first 2 weeks of November at the very least. And it all does depend, though, on the business and what they actually want to do. So a mixed bag is my answer.
400, it's kind of hard to say what the direction is.
Yeah,
let's take somebody with less than 400 accounts. Hey, Dylan, not a slight. You have less than 400 accounts. That's more than enough for you to buy a house. So congratulations again, by the way, on the purchase. What about you? Launch time and workload today, overall gist of things. What's it looking like for you?
It's been, I knew I just had budgets today just to up even more and just kind of check how the scheduled campaigns were doing for the most part. But I spent the most of my time appealing TikTok ads this morning. So I woke up to an email. All of our Spark ads, which are big money makers, went down, and I was like, fuck me, dude. So it's really just been appealing ads and talking to support, my rep, and everything. But other than that, it's been chill. I had some sales launch earlier in the month, honestly, and then I had one launch today at 10. So that launched 15 minutes ago. But yeah, they've all been fairly recent, I would say. But I scheduled everything out. we just doubled most of the budgets. It's been interesting. I feel like the past couple of days weren't as hard as I thought they were going to be, but it's been a solid morning so far. So I mean, I can't really complain. Everybody's doing pretty darn good. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those mornings.
Yeah, it's yet another day in Dylan's cave.
Yeah, I've been playing some Xbox, you know.
Fair enough. That is. I do have my PS4 controller, and we'll get some Madden in here in a little bit. What about you, Daniel? How's what about stuff launched with you guys, and what's your management looking like today? And are you happy with things?
Yeah, I mean, same as Dylan was saying, you know, we've had people phase their launches of Black Friday. Some have been live for 2 weeks, some have gone live today. I think I tweeted it yesterday. Some are crushing. Everyone's up month over month, year over year. Some are under where we want it to be. And, you know, honestly, like the team is just doubling budgets, increasing budgets where it makes sense to. Like we have a plan in place. We had scoped out budgets. Okay, we want to spend this. We have these creatives live. But honestly, I mean, you guys get it. It's like if there's a time to push, right? And if you can push more when things are going well, that's kind of what the team is focused on. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything so far. We'll see how today goes.
Are you guys planning? Wait, are you guys planning on shutting anything off today? That's sorry, I know that I'm like jumping ahead, but like that's my biggest question is like how are you gonna optimize today based off of like delayed data and everything else? Like, are you gonna turn things off today, or are you gonna just like let it run and then make a call tomorrow, or are you gonna trust like the modeled data and just be like, yep.
Yeah, I don't care about the model data. I don't care about the delayed stuff. I've budgeted everything out because for most of the people that I'm working with, especially on bigger stuff, like, I mean, almost everybody I launched with, I did not let them launch any later than like 2-3 weeks ago. Like, just flat out, I don't care. We're not playing that game. Like, for instance, last year, somebody didn't take my advice on that, and they literally launched at like 3 a.m. Black Friday day, and then the ads were in review till like noon, and they fired us by 3 in the afternoon, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is your fault. Anyway, that was fine by me. I was making far too less. It was a favor to a friend, and I got fired by lunch, so fuck them. Not my friend, the other people. But yeah, so for me, I've got it rolled out. Like, basically by like dinner time today or whatever, I'm not talking to my existing customers anymore. I'm not paying to reach anybody. And a lot of my other efforts are being rolled out because I have dynamic exclusions based on email opens and based on site traffic. So basically, as soon as you're in my ecosystem, I'm not paying to acquire you anymore. And so that is based on frequency and email overlap. So there's some automated rules. Basically, if you've been to my site twice in the last 48 hours and you open an email, I'm not spending money on you at all. I'm basically forcing the dollars higher and higher up the funnel. And the point of that is because I know it's going to be harder and harder. I want people to spend more and more money. And the higher up the funnel you are, the higher the AOV of the offers that you're getting exposed to. Because like I'm just not playing the game of like cutting off my knees to try to scrap and get customers. I mean, we've talked about this forever. The idea of discounting your product to get a lower quality customer that pays you less money, what you make less revenue on, that ultimately hurts your business next year is fucking stupid. At least the way I look at math. Bad revenue, it acts like a bad exchange rate for a lower quality customer. Bad business.
But you're going up funnel, right? Yeah. Like you're going into like a prospecting audience.
Yes.
With your discount.
With higher and higher cost products.
Oh, like you don't have those like lower pieces in your
like if you want to spend $30 with me, for instance, with one brand, a CBD company, for instance, right now. If you wanted to spend less than $50, you had 3 weeks to do it. And if you want to spend less than $100, you better land that in by sundown. At that point, I'm acquiring customers at like $150, $200 AOV. because that's the only person I'm willing to spend money to acquire at this point, because by no means are any of us inventing the wheel. And I have to compete with big box people. Like, I ran Macy's Black Friday campaign a few years ago with the alpha of the DPA ad. I know what a seven-figure daily budget for direct-to-consumer looks like. Like, that is auto-paced. That is auto-budget, lifetime, ad set, like lifetime budget. I'm not fighting against that person that's going to just buy out the inventory all weekend long. Like, that's just dumb. And I can just sit back, and every day I don't spend money, but I get sales, is a ROAS number on my Scrum doc, like my actual tracking of like 1,000% ROAS, like it's stupid fucking numbers. And like, I'll go into the end of the month with my last week averaging like a 600 to 1,000 daily return on ad spend. Like, ROAS is a bullshit number anyway, but I'll take that all day.
Yeah, like throw that back at them and be like, "Look how good I am," even though you shouldn't trust
they
this
know it
number
too.
ever
We're
again.
all laughing about it. There was a chat this morning because they're on the East Coast. But yeah, what about anybody else? I love
I want to hear. Like, Dylan looked like he had some hot takes, but I know that Daniel does too.
I mean, I just had one thing. There is one account that I'm just like shocked on today. And it's the beauty and cosmetics. Like, it's crazy, and we're even going broad, man. And our CPMs are like $40. And that's the one account I'm like, oh my god, it's just not looking as I want it to look at all. So,
but are you gonna shut it off then? Like, are you gonna turn ads off that aren't like? Are you gonna turn anything off, or are you just gonna let it run into? Yeah, when's the moment though? That's what I want to know. Like,
I'm probably gonna look.
Is it today?
4 or 5 p.m. Central Time. So I'm gonna give it 3-4 more hours minimum. So I mean, because we don't.
You're gonna still trust the. You're gonna trust the data that's in there.
Yeah, well, I'll be cross-referencing across with just a lot of different in Google Analytics for the most part, and then just try and match everything and see how it looks. But I mean, we don't have much running at all. I mean, it's freaking 2 campaigns, just large budgets. But yeah, the Black Friday shit just sucks on it. Luckily, the evergreen stuff though is still doing solid, but. Yeah, CPMs went from $22 yesterday to $44 today, and it's just like, holy shit, dude!
Happy holidays!
I didn't even do anything yet. That's the one account I was like, I'll share if this is a fat L right now. So,
what about you, Daniel?
In terms of shutting stuff, I mean, I think today is more of a budget play, up static rather than a turning things off. I think we've set ourselves up in a way that. We don't want to be making too many changes today, but also, like, where there's opportunities, we'll make changes, right? Like, we have additional creatives to rotate in tomorrow, Monday, as I'm sure everybody does. So it's like I said earlier, like, we have that plan. If there's opportunities to push today, we'll do that. Turning things off, I mean, probably not, maybe, unless there's something like really justifying to do so. But then as we go through the course of the next couple of days, like, yeah, we will. Yeah, I'd love to throw some data at you. I'm trying to pull anything interesting right now from the.
All right. Pull some interesting stuff. I love that. I want to know some data.
Yeah, I'll try and pull anything interesting.
I'm going to ask a question real quick because I have one client that we do this. Oh, sorry. Are you ready? Go for it.
I was going to say, what I will say is one of our top performing brands is not using Black Friday, Cyber Monday messaging.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. That's just like, hey, we're here.
There's an offer, and we could have called it Black Friday, but it's more a positioning of just value and quality. There's no mention of Black Friday, Cyber Monday in it.
How's that doing like this last couple of days versus like the last couple of weeks?
TBD, I'll get back to you, but it's doing really well.
Fair enough. I do have one question because I have a client and 2 students and a client where we've taken this approach. When we cross a certain revenue number, we just cut spend. We turn off the machine. Because the goal is, what is our real objective? Well, the real objective let's just throw a for instance on here. This totally isn't the real thing that's on a sticky note on my screen in front of me right now. Like absolutely not, whatever. I'm not reading it off of a sticky note that happens to be over there. When we cross 125K, we're cutting. Because every penny we make after that is pure profit. And if we get there with 20K spend, great. If we then get, that's 130,000 or whatever, right? Like that's 100K profit. What's our goal? Our goal is cash flow. Our goal is customer acquisition. Our goal is to be profitable going into the end of Q4, right? Because they're playing the long game of what do we look like to the investors of the company, because them, like other people that I like, they look at my business as one product. My business's product is the business. My goal as a business is to be so attractive that somebody wants to buy me. Like, and so they're playing the long game of the business growth model of showing projections. And so as soon as they hit 100K in profit today, we just shut things off, call it a day. It's a race to spend and profit and revenue. And as soon as we cross that line, everything goes dark, and we just take in all other sales as cream. And for what it's worth, we're sitting at about 80 right now on 15K spend. So probably by the time I get back from the gym, I'm just going to be like done. Although I wish there was a way to like have an automated rule that said when Shopify number is this and then Facebook and Google revenue, if it spend equals this, just like kill everything. But like, sadly, I have to do a little bit of work today. And like, that's just, it's a holiday. I don't want to have to do any work.
Jesus.
So they're going to do that even if their customer acquisition cost is far better than it would be at any other time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why not spend 40 to get 300K?
Right. So there's two reasons. Number one, because the positioning of the customer that's coming in today, and this is an LTV based brand, by the way, like they are lifetime value. Like there's a 10x multiplier on that customer.
Okay.
It's generally about 7.5 to 10 on that customer. So for them, I'll just Dylan went away for a second. I'll bring him back. Whatever. There we go. Great. For them, we got a little shuffle of the deck. For them,
Yeah, I know. Now I'm over here.
Price conscious, the price conscious customer that's coming in on like Saturday on Black Friday, the LTV of that day 2, day 3 of a sale customer is like 3 to 5x. The LTV of the other customers are 7 to 10. So when we're baking in the overall profit margin and our allowable cost per acquisition, maybe I'm getting that customer for cheaper right now, but that's a much lower quality customer for me. And what that ends up doing is it hurts the email flow and the post-transactional journey and the product testing for what the customer looks like, because now I'm bringing in 10, 20% of my customer pool is this much lower grade customer. And that then means I have two types of customer journeys that I have to foster through everything that happens after the click, which ultimately impairs my ability to maximize the value of the customers that we're driving in otherwise. And ultimately, what we're really looking for is 30% year over year. So 30% growth year over year to hit the Deloitte projection for a buyout is going to get accomplished at like 100K, 200K. Like there's a certain metrics. Once we hit that, then at the end of the day, the customer that's going to spend 8 figures doesn't give a damn if I'm getting an extra like 40 customers, 100 customers today, because that is penny smart, pound foolish. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why for them, there's a couple people that I'm working with. And also there's one of the 3 of them also is just working on cash flow. Like, can I afford to support this? And they're honestly at a point of how many orders can I fulfill before I start to hit delay? And if I have a delay on delivery, my page score on Facebook goes from a 4.5 to like a 2.8. Can I afford to shit the bed in January to make a few extra bucks today on deliveries I'm going to pay extra to acquire that I can't fulfill? And so in those ways, they're just like, this is what I can do. And when I hit that, great. Like, my shit is still off for one of them specifically. Like their boat unloads in Long Beach in 3 days, hopefully. And so that's like
what
like,
I was on a Twitter space that Savannah Sanchez had, I think like 2 days
oh, I
ago,
can't
where she was
speak to
talking
them.
about.
She has me blocked.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, she has me blocked live.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on a Twitter space talking about how she has a bunch of things in place around how much product each of her clients actually have and how much they think that they'll sell in December so that they don't like fuck themselves over during BFCM.
Yeah, because like if you're giving 20% off on a product you could sell for full price in 10 days and you only have 1,000 things on your shelf, how valuable is it to you to get a really nice ego boost on a screenshot today versus continuous business for the next month? Like ultimately, it is exchange rate of your investment, right? We're investment bankers. And I'd much rather reserve my investment for a day where I'm going to get a 20% higher return. So, I mean, that's the game that I'm playing with those people specifically.
Y'all got any reach campaigns going today? I do.
Nice. Tell me about it. I have one also, but I feel like I've been yammering for far too long. So maybe you can tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, so I just get all of our lists from even last Q4, and then I'll get a separate list for just November for like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and I just bombard them honestly like with really high frequency, and that we're getting sales for like $2 or $3, which it's
Really?
Oh yeah, the CPMs aren't that crazy either. They're around $35-$40. So luckily we have a huge fucking pool, but I have reach campaigns in a couple of accounts, and there's just one where it's just fucking killing it. But yeah, we have
like specific reach, right? You're not going like it's not a broad and it's not interest based or even lookalike. It's like specific people that you're.
I don't know if I would trust
Smart
audiences, man. That's
no, I know. That's why I was like, wait, you're running reach campaigns? What the fuck are you talking about?
No, but yeah, even just taking everybody from last Q4 and then this November, that's shockingly been a really good list versus having all customers in one. So, I mean, I do get kind of extreme on the retargeting buckets just to make sure no stone is left unturned. But
smart. Are you proving that is incremental?
What's up?
Are you proving the incrementality of that retargeting? Like,
I mean,
we got 1,000 people that are opening your email, and then your email scores 70 grand in sales today, and your Facebook scores 100 grand, and you look at your store and it's 95. Like, how much money did you spend to reach those people? Like, that's my question. Because like it sounds great. There's definitely extra cream here. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that 2 might be a 20. But if your target CPA is 30, fucking smack.
Exactly, and that's the KPI goal we're looking to even hit on that kind of front is $35. So like we're straight up in the green, like substantially there. But yeah, I mean we do send out like a shitload of emails too, but I don't do the email marketing, so I don't know exactly how they have that list segmented to an extent. I would just think they have it all customers and shit, to be honest. So where once I was able to just get those lists, I was like, let me just try and sprinkle some little razzle dazzle on this and get a little extra in the cooking, kitchen. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been cool though. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody should really touch anything unless Daniel said, unless shit's really, really fucking bad, for something. But yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting what you say about like the overlap with email and SMS. We had some brands who the first day budget on paid media was drastically lower than what we ultimately get it to because they want email, SMS drive that initial spike and they don't want overlap, which kind of makes sense. Someone's going to convert by email and SMS, right? Like, why pay? Why double up on your efforts? I think it depends on the size of the brands as well and like how much you have to rely on Facebook and your media doing the work during this time versus like your own lists and everything else. But yeah, interesting take.
Has anybody converted from a Black Friday Cyber Monday ad out of this group? Have y'all I know you may have had a list of things you were going to buy, but have you seen an ad and you're like, shit, I might as well get that,
I did. I in bed bought a scarf, a Black Sabbath scarf, 30% off. I didn't know it existed. I'm going to Big Bear in 2 weeks, and my wife has a King Diamond one, and I had to borrow hers last time we went out when it was cold. So now I have my own Sabbath one. But yeah, anybody else?
I haven't bought anything yet. I might do the whole Twitter thing of tag your offers and.
Yeah, I did that. I did that a couple days ago. There was some really good stuff in there.
Yeah. I like to learn about new brands. There's nothing. I'm not going to be buying from Allbirds or anything like that. That's for sure. But if there's some cool new brands that I don't know about, I'd love to hear about them.
I'm looking at buying a circular saw. That's all I got.
I'm looking at leaf blowers and shit.
Oh yeah, I'm debating like, do I go cordless or like just pure dad shit? Basically, is what I'm getting at. Is like pure dad shit, where I'm like, you know what I need is like a new circular saw, and do I go cordless this time? Like,
I need a lawnmower.
What's that?
I need a lawnmower. Yeah. So
yeah,
I just have a list of power tools.
Yeah. We should trade notes on power tools and shit for the house.
Yeah. Just like, yep, okay, what power tools do I need? Because that's what I want. I've become my father, where it's like, oh yeah, it's Christmas time, get me power tools.
One of the best Christmas gifts I ever got was like a bag, and it had like, like the Black & Decker circular saw and a power drill. And I've built tables and I built shit with it, like 100%. Although I lived in the canyon here in Los Angeles, and I was hammering shit in, and it would echo across the canyon and come back for me to I was ripping apart like a pallet and making a desk. It was obnoxious. So with that being said, something that I like to do, and we've done this a few times, and maybe Black Friday we can make this happen again. Because I don't know if we definitely haven't had Daniel on this, but your favorite DTC brands. I can tell you one that I'm super looking forward to because I'm on their email drip, and it's legitimately they have me stressed because I want to pay and they won't let me. Is Last Crumb, which Rabba turned us on to a month ago. Do you guys know about Last Crumb?
No.
Last Crumb
is
small order bakery that sells 12 cookies at a shot, but it's like a text message goes out, and it's like the first 1,000 people, and that's it. I signed up 3 weeks ago after Rabba, the CMO of Triple Whale, was on the show, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta get on this thing," and so I did, and there was something like, "Look for our email tomorrow." And so I was looking through my email all yesterday on Thanksgiving. I saw the thing, and it was just a sign up for the damn SMS. So I'm on the edge. But yeah, for D2C Black Friday, I'm waiting for the cookie drop. That is everything for me right now. Just I want to win the game, even more than just the cookies.
I'm loving this crypto shit, dude. Fucking.
That's what you're isn't it I looked this morning, everything's down. It's like there's a Black Friday sale on crypto right now.
There you go.
I got this PYR shit too, and it's fucking, I feel like I've made $5K in 24 hours. It's fucking crazy.
Nice.
I mean, ads are fun and all, dude.
Black Friday stuff you're looking forward to, or are you just guys out there just looking for anything?
If I find a good fucking deal, I'm going for it, dude. I'll be honest. We're going to the lighting store later. I might find some cool more lights and shit. Who knows? So.
Homesick. I'm a big candle fan.
Ooh.
I love a candle. So I think
but I'm gonna take a look at it right now.
I don't know if it's live yet.
Really?
I might have got an email about it, but homesick. Can't have enough candles in my house. So
yeah, aren't they the ones that are they smell like places?
Yeah,
it's come out of
location stuff. So they've got there's an LA one.
Yeah.
There's great gifts.
Is this the one that came out of BuzzFeed? BuzzFeed at one point started this, I think it was candles, out of their innovation lab where they just created this product
I'm not too
But
sure.
I don't know if it was this one.
I think I follow the founder on Twitter, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm sorry
I'm
if they end
looking-
up watching this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so for what it's
it didn't
worth,
come out of
like I don't know
BuzzFeed.
if I want a candle that smells like LA. Like I live in LA.
Yeah, but you could get other places. You could get other places.
There's one here that says it smells like Sagittarius.
This is the smell. This is a great
I'm
one.
not exactly sure. Tailgate.
Tailgate?
Oh.
Bud
Right.
Light tailgate. All right. I like that it's a Bud Light tailgate, not a Coors. I don't know. Call me crazy, but that sounds like a better idea.
Yeah. That
New
and
York,
the other one
I
is,
don't want that one.
one more is Represent Clothing. It's a British based clothing brand. You should check those guys out as well.
Oh, Represent?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know these guys. One of my very first clients I was in-house in their LA office. When it was Represent, they also had some other brand, and like their experience brand. And we were literally scraping emails. We were scraping, we were doing graph, like Facebook graph or whatever, we could scrape Facebook data. And I remember I did the launch for them of the t-shirt of the drum off between Will Ferrell and Chad Smith. But yeah, Represent, those are good guys. Those are solid dudes. It's funny. I know another guy from Represent that ended up replacing me when I left, and we ended up both working at Hyphen together a little bit after that. The Represent is great. What is it? Don't they have another brand that they do? It's sort of like a competitor to Omaze, right?
I'm not too sure. It wouldn't surprise me, but Represent, yeah, they do some good stuff.
Oh no, these guys are great.
I'm a big built guy. BYLT. I've already
I see their emails.
I spent like $300 on them in the past 2 days. I feel like.
Look, even Lululemon's just, at least in Canada, Lululemon's bidding on their terms.
A branded search, bro.
I know.
ROAS.
They're not bidding here. They're not bidding here. But Lululemon is. I do realize that I did buy a thing last week and I just went and looked it up and now it's cheaper. And now I'm upset about it. They always pan from our place. Have you guys seen that? The always pan?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm
It's
pretty
like
sure
all of
we
the
got one
pans
like
that you
last
need
week.
in just one.
What?
Oh, Nick says he's now
Dope.
buying built. Thanks. You're welcome, Nick.
Hey,
I don't
shouts
know if
out.
anybody here's on that account, but we appreciate it.
There's also a really good Nerf gun deal on Amazon. If you want like a machine gun Nerf gun, it's pretty freaking sick, low key.
Okay.
You drop the link to that in the chat.
Yeah,
please?
right?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
there's
gonna
also-
say I need kids' toys.
Yeah.
That can
I'm
also
gonna put
be
this in
my
a
toys.
public-facing chat right now. The Nerf gun assault rifle, like machine gun thing.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
I'm getting.
also, flamethrowers. These are on sale right now. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're freaking sick, dude.
I love that the flamethrower is a little bit more expensive than the Nerf Mastodon. Sorry, the Mega Mastodon.
It's
This
actually
is a
like
good
10
deal. It's $50 for frustration-free packaging.
frustration.
Oh my
They
god!
have
Look at
written
this thing. No,
Frustration-free packaging, $48.99. Standard packaging, $91.99. That feels to me like pre-owned car. So frustration-free means somebody else already took it out of that fucking, like they already did all the shit, and they just threw it back in a box and sent it to you.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yo,
position.
can I take us in a different direction? I wanted to ask about I don't know if you guys saw it or not. I like quote tweeted it because a good buddy of mine from Facebook that I worked with for years tweeted a thing last week about like here's what they've seen working now for large Facebook advertisers and like went off on a thread. And then it kind of like I thought it was great. But there were people that like jumped in, like Barry, who said like the hard part about Facebook people then like sharing data and content around how to structure ads is that people then take it as gospel, and it doesn't necessarily always apply. Now,
Daniel,
I'm of the belief that I'd love to see more Facebook people tweet. When I was working with this guy, his name's Yoni Levy, I was always like, man, you should tweet your hot takes. And he was like, I don't know about that. And I was like, just tweet it. People will follow you. And he tweeted this thing. And I think it has like 45 retweets and like 204 likes. And like he wrote a whole thread about here's how you can kind of do this. But what are your takes on, because Barry and I ended up having like a DM conversation about it where he was like, it gets scary because now I know this guy personally and worked with him for like 2 years. So I know that he knows what he's talking about. But when you see stuff like that, do you trust it? Do you think it's a bad idea? Daniel's got hot takes. Go.
Sorry. My thing on it is like, I mean, first of all, Facebook are incentivized for you to spend more on their platform. So like, right, they're not going to put out information on anything that they don't think is going to get people to spend more. And there's also, if you set your campaign strategies, anything else up under purely data-driven algorithmic understanding of, well, this is the way to maximize the machine learning aspect of Facebook based on how it's all meant to work, right? So you can't really dispute that in one way, but there's people winning not doing those things, right? So like,
yes.
if Facebook draw out a playbook of only do this, only do this, only do this, because if you do these things, that's maximizing how we've built our machines to perform the best. Cool. And I think there's a lot you can take from that. But I think there's somebody not doing those things and winning. And I think like if you only blindly ever do the things that come out of Facebook, then you don't know. I know Charlie, I actually saw a thread from Charlie yesterday about CBO and ABO.
Yeah, that thread's been going
No, we can't go down this road again.
So much to Charlie's dislike, I would say that one of our advertisers, maybe even more, I'd have to check with Kyle, is on ABO and absolutely crushing it. Now, like, if we only did things the way maybe Facebook are telling us to, because CBO is best because it does this, then would it perform better? Well, it didn't. So we switched it over and we're using ABO and like, you see what I mean? So I know that gets confusing because people ask questions of, well, what's the best way to set things up? And I think there's an initial starting ground, which I would start with like the Facebook template to a large degree, because it's there to guide how to maximize the machine, right? That is Facebook and the algorithm. I think as you get more knowledge and more experience and you work on bigger projects and bigger brands, like there's going to be an element of, well, you have the freedom and opportunity to test other things. If those things work, then if it goes slightly against what the theoretical best practices are, then I don't think that's a bad thing. That's my take.
No, I think it's like more of an art form than, I mean, it sounds so douchey and self-serving maybe, that it is more of an art form and how you want to work and what actually works, right? Like some people they like the ABO side. I like the CBO side, but I don't care. Like I don't hate Dylan because he runs ABO. I hate him for other things. Sorry, it was just right there for me.
It was a good alley-oop.
Like I think that's the play, right? And I get into arguments about it all the time, but I get into arguments where it's not me running the account, right? So if I come in and take over and it's all ABO, my first instinct is like, well, I'll set this up in CBO, but maybe that shits the bed and I turn everything ABO back on. I just haven't had that experience yet. So that's why I'm like, yeah, but I'm sure that at some point I'll hit something where I'll be like, I gotta test ABO.
Yeah. I think again, not to kind of repeat the point, and I know Charlie's going to want to talk on it, but it's like,
Yeah.
I think, you know, and what I've done always and we've done is, I guess, like you have your initial playbook of where you want things to start from, right? And I think that leverages a lot of what we know to be true about maximizing the machine that is Facebook, right? Like, we want to get the most out of the algorithm, and so we want to do things, and at least initially, that give us that best chance. But if it's not working, then you've got to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. You've got to have, yes, outside of creative variables and stuff, which is obviously super important, but like, you know, I think at least having an established base, right? But then there's going to be paths that take you to different directions, and that's the case with this brand where we're running ABO. It's massively helped us scale, and probably part of that is nuance to the way we have that brand set up with product specific multi-SKU ABO campaigns that we can check against inventory levels and know how to scale up individual ad sets and things. Do you see what I mean? So again, there's a lot of variables around it.
For sure. But wait, before Charlie goes off on CBO, Facebook reps, should they tweet more stuff that they see in the market overall, or should they leave it to the rest of us to just tweet our hot takes about CBO and ABO?
I think we should let Dylan, a former Facebook rep, answer this question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be real right now. So if they were to like tweet what they think is like accurate, I mean, that'd be complete bullshit if I'm being honest with you. I mean, with what we were trained, it was best practices, but let's be real. How many times do best practices actually work at the end of the day? And I mean, we can see what's in accounts, but it doesn't mean we know what plan B or C is. And I mean, the tools they have are pretty freaking cool because they can go into any single ad account they want to say, hey, I wonder how this brand structured. I see their ads all the time. So, I mean, they can go above and beyond to kind of learn it for themselves, but there's literally 1% who actually know what the fuck they're doing. So, I mean, global account manager, I got a killer one. And if she were to tweet some stuff, that would be kind of cool. But I mean, the majority of them are just not the greatest.
Yeah, that's what, like, because I've worked with this guy, I'm like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. And he does like add in all of the things that you would expect Meta employee to do, like do your own independent testing and here's some things. And then people went back at him and he was like, well, this is what conventional wisdom says. So it's not over the top. Charlie, I just flipped it to you on Slack just in case you want to put this tweet somewhere. Because like I would love to hear from more Facebook reps as long as it's I don't want them to get in trouble because maybe Zuckerberg just drops the hammer, right? Like I feel like you have to be like at a VP level to be tweeting about anything.
I did have to sign an NDA with mine, like both of them. And, like, so I mean, they have told me some things, and I'm just like, certain things that we'll keep to ourselves, but it's definitely interesting. I don't want to risk losing them essentially. So I mean, I'm definitely going to keep some things to my fucking self. Yeah.
Yes, like there was lots. I had tons of conversations where it was very NDA'd. But the stuff that they see and the reports that they get internally or that are then reflected in external case studies, like highlighting that and being able to tweet about it, I dig.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I'll say this. 3 things. First off, as far as reps go, not all reps are created equal. There's a very different person that's the 24-year-old salesperson versus the global, like the GSM on a disruptor account.
Yes.
Very different exposure. There's also a big difference between somebody that works in the engineering or the measurement team and somebody that's on the product team. Very different exposure. And I know some of the folks on the measurement team that'll swear up and down X, Y, and Z, and I get it. You're a scientist looking at data, but you never are able to take what's in the box out into the real world for business development. And there's a big gap. So I would love to see more of them talk, but I also think that there's a big understanding. Like I see a lot of times Facebook employees will talk, and everybody, if it mirrors what they have to say, they'll champion it till the cows come home. And if it doesn't, then they're like, well, fuck a rep. They don't know what they're talking about. And the honest truth is, it's one of those things where you get to pick and choose the conversation you would like to, like your echo chamber. Which one do you want to support, right? So my second point to that is, when it comes to reps and it comes to like, should you trust them and like, what should you be doing? I think that ultimately, and this goes back to more what Dan was saying, like, I think there is best practice for 80% of the people, 80% of the time. That's my big general rule. There's an overarching thing that in general, if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to be good. And I think there's some distrust from employees and there's some, advertisers. But like, for instance, this guy, Daniel, who like came at me because they said ads make their own lookalike audiences, which is objectively true, although it's an analogy. So the people that don't understand what we're talking about can like get there. He also said, well, Facebook ultimately just wants to take your money. And that basically tells me like, okay, cool. So I'm not going to trust anything that you have to say other than that, because basically just negated the value of any position you have, because yes, Facebook wants to take your money, but there's not like a piece of code that says, oh shoot, Daniel's got an extra $500 on his credit limit today, we're going to spike like that. The level of self-importance that it requires for you to think that Facebook is coming after you personally to like come after your bank account is fucking ridiculous. So then it ultimately comes down to my third point. ABO and CBO, my ultimate thing is do what works best for you. The number one strategy is what you can commit to. I've seen a lot of people take one way or the other. It's how you think, how you problem solve, what your objectives are. But generally speaking, a lot of the people that I see champion ABO say, well, CBO didn't work for me, but they didn't come from a place where they implemented CBO the way it should be done. And they didn't necessarily follow, like, they're not validating the elements of all of their ads, right? They're not like validating for estimated action rate, the headlines, the creative, the primary text. They're not running dynamic creative testing at scale, at broad to measure for incrementality to the reach of the audiences. They're not trying to stabilize that thing and then improve upon it. They're saying, well, this ad that I tested against an interest group 3 years ago, that's got great, or like 3 months ago, I ran it against broad with CBO, and oh, by the way, it spent more money at broad than it did at lookalike. Well, broad should spend more than lookalike. Lookalike and cost cap and all that stuff, that's incremental, right? That's data-based audiences. So it's designed to not be the lion's share of the spend, but the thing that helps you reduce your average cost. And then ultimately, like what I find that marching order, that mentality is, how do I make the system look as good as I can with the tools that I have? And I get that. My overarching thinking, though, is most of the people that I know that have fully embraced CBO, that are going, like, it's a long game versus a short game. And I think that's the bigger thing. I want, ultimately, Facebook is a scientific method testing device. I want a control element where I can predict the outcome, and then I want to improve it. What that means is I need as few moving parts so I have the highest likelihood of getting a consistent result, and then I improve it. And for me, that means I have a control campaign made up of some control audiences with CBO running, because I know, hey, Facebook, no matter what you're going to do, I know what I can project roughly what the outcome is going to be. And then I work to develop ads that are going to find me incrementality and audience reach, or they're going to find me incrementality and efficiency. And I'm just going to cycle and repeat to continue to either reduce my CPA or maintain it while I'm pushing volume. And for me, that means that I'm no longer going to play the game of investment by audience, because that is micromanaging something that becomes obsolete in the end game. So, like, I think there's very different things of maximize performance versus build brand. And there's not necessarily one is right or wrong. It's just, I'm generally working with brands that are looking at the next 6 months, next 3 years as their objective. And that for me means I need the simplest, most stable account, because Facebook is feeding into a larger ecosystem that we're measuring across, like, a blended CPA, and I can't adjust things up or down. And like the biggest complaints, people say, well, I can't triple my spend. And my thing is like, do I want a triple spend, or do I want that tripled spend to be my normal in 3 months? Because, for instance, Dylan was talking about like running the reach campaign against all that smaller audience. Well, that's great. You're going to get great results now. But it's also going to tank your account's estimated action rate. And you're likely to see your prospecting suffer for the next couple of weeks, because you're forcing impressions on people who don't want to see it. So there's halo effect of reduced performance efficiency, then now you're creating problems you're not going to have to micromanage to solve. And I'm just not even going to play the game. And so it's a different style, right? And so that's where I manage Facebook in 90 minutes, 2 hours max a week. And I'm trying to plan for 3 months in advance. But I might miss out on today's revenue where Dylan is going to maximize the opportunity right in front of him. And I'm not playing the hand-to-hand combat game. And I might definitely miss out on opportunity for that. But it's a different style of management. I don't know. That's my
I literally just like have a note to myself, like, do not talk about CBO versus ABO today, because I feel like we do it every time.
My bad.
And then, yeah, no, it's all right, man. That's every time somebody comes in, though, they're like, we should talk about this, because like Charlie's out there on Twitter being like, you're stupid if you run ABO.
I didn't say you're stupid if you run it. I said ABO is stupid and obsolete.
Yes.
Because of the liability to long-term brand growth. And it requires.
I know we don't need to cover any more of it. What's another topic?
Well, how about this? We're at like 55 minutes. So why don't we leave with this thing? I always ranted some stuff. Maybe we can have some parting things of some good advice and how somebody can find you. Just like if there's somebody watching this right now that can really want to get some sort of insight, if you were able to pull somebody aside for a moment and give them, 60 seconds of your time, what would that look like? Maybe we can go, in the order that we introduce everybody. So maybe Dan, why don't you go first, if that's okay with you? Like some advice you would give somebody, the elevator pitch on like what you think is really important, because you were like employee, some double-digit number probably at MySpace, and now you're here doing the game almost 20 years later. What if that your elevator pitch to some kid to try to, relatively speaking, to try to help them be successful or think about something? What is a parting shot to try to make the world a little bit better place? Because ultimately, I think that's what we should try to do.
Specific to our world, DTC e-commerce.
Yeah, the DTC, yeah.
Like, hone your craft. Like take in knowledge and take in information, but don't take in so much that you're pulled in 50,000 different directions. Because as we've just seen on this call, like you're successful, Dylan's successful, I'm doing okay. We all do things differently. Like, and that's the thing is like, I think it's great. There's a big community out there on Twitter. It's fantastic. There's a lot of support. People have different ways of doing things. At the end of the day, you have to trust your own instincts, your own knowledge, the things that you are doing and applying. So yeah, I would say take in information, learn, connect with people, read, do everything else. But at the end of the day, like forge your own path, and then I think you'll be okay.
I like that.
I know.
Take what works, leave the rest. Something like that.
No.
Yeah.
No, we have to follow that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to follow that. Right? Let's go.
Yeah, right. I mean, my thing is always to learn how to learn and critical thinking. Those two skills alone will set you apart from 90% of the people that are out there. If you can learn how to learn, meaning, so learning how to learn and critical thinking together mean that you don't take anything that any one of us just said and run with it as like that's the right thing to do. Go and find other people that say different things, and then go and try and corroborate either side of that, and from there build your own philosophy towards something, and then utilize that philosophy going forward, but always add to it, right? Like I have my own philosophy of how I think about growth, but a lot of that came from other places, but then I challenged those things too, to be like, is this actually true? Because there are people that'll tell you, as we've discussed, whatever you want to hear. So if you can't find a dissenting view, maybe it's true, but you have to have the critical thinking skills to realize that you're either searching for your own echo chamber or you're actually doing your due diligence.
Solid.
Yeah, I think I pulled that off. Good luck, Dylan.
Golly, yeah, I'm like, holy, I thought you were gonna slaughter that too. I was like, oh, this is gonna be man.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
it'll be easy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing is to kind of come in open-minded, more or less. Because I mean, you're always gonna have your, what's in your gut you think you should do. But I mean, it's good to hear perspectives, and that's what I think Twitter is great for. And I never thought I would like Twitter, to be honest. But that's been a great platform for me in just the marketing realm, but even learning new things. Because I mean, marketing is fun, but also like staying up to date with Web3 and NFTs and all that kind of fun stuff. I love learning new stuff, which just kind of keeps me in the game more or less. And I mean, to kind of even piggyback more off what Brent said, is just always be learning. And I mean, I think that kind of keeps you in the game more or less. Because I mean, there's never one size fits all. It's cool to see other people's perspectives and wins, but I mean, you never really see the bad things sometimes. So I mean, of course, you have those 5 or 6 huge wins, but you also have like 9 or 10 fucking huge flops for the most part. So I mean, it's all about knowing that, and I mean, take everything with a grain of salt, do your due diligence for the most part. But yeah, I also love what Daniel said, hone your craft. I mean, I think stick to one thing, get really, really good at it before you start getting pulled in different directions. And a good example for, with me was ManyChat with Facebook ads. I was first to that curve, but now I'm like, I don't even use those things anymore. So, I mean, tiny object syndrome is a real thing. So, I mean, control what you can control and, kind of stay in your lane for the most part until you hit a specific spot you want to be at. So.
I love it. I love it. And I'll go here, like, to kind of echo some of this stuff. And one other thing, like, don't be a generalist. You know who makes more money than the guy the guy that runs the corner, like urgent care clinic? The brain surgeon that saves lives. Like, be extremely excellent at one thing and find people better than you at everything else. And I think that that's something that I've always tried to do. And the other thing here is what I like to say when it comes to learning stuff is validate who it is you're learning from. One of the biggest issues that I have, and I've been vocal about this for many, many years, which is why a lot of people have me blocked. And they blocked me on their Facebook groups before I joined Twitter. Now they blocked me here too. I don't take advice. I don't trust people that don't do the work. There's a lot of folks whose job is to manage teams and to monetize attention and to do all of that stuff that are giving advice on how to do things. But okay, Brent, fair enough. But you actually do work. You got your hands dirty in execution, right? There are far too many people preaching advice that are repackaged versions of other things that are years and years old that don't actually do any of the work. And the honest thing is, I don't want that person to do the work because that's not their job. But it also means they're not up to date. And so I would much rather take the word of 5 people that are up to their neck in work, just pounding stuff out that are figuring it out, than somebody that hasn't gotten their hands dirty in years. And so that's like my biggest thing is like, if somebody's teaching you stuff, make sure that they actually do the thing that they're teaching. Because that's a big piece that I think is highly valuable. And I think that's one thing here. Everybody does the work. Like, we're all here actually doing legit work. You know what I mean? And I think that that's one reason why this is really valuable for people. So with all that being said, guys, I think we're a little over an hour, so I'll call it at that. But I really appreciate it. I know we got into some topics. I think, Brent, maybe next time you figure out a couple other hot take options for us to dive into, if you want to, besides AVO and CVO, it'll be fun. And don't worry, next Monday I'm going to drop another thread that's going to clearly upset people because I'm just trying to help folks get better at their job. But we
gotta have Daniel come back to talk about like influencer marketing and UGC and how to find that stuff.
I love that. Maybe we can do that in like a week or two because I got Ash and I got Dara, and I'd love to bring you back for that, Daniel. Like, the influencer side, we've been talking paid media so much. But
Yeah.
the influencer side, biz dev side, these other things, like I used to have a 6-figure influencer budget. I would love to hear with somebody else that does that game.
Definitely. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, sounds good. Well, hey everybody, don't hit refresh too much. Every action you take today is off of incomplete data and will drive you nuts. You've already worked really hard today, so best of luck to you. And tell your clients to turn on Shopify alerts on their phone, and when their phone dies, you can go to sleep. That's my advice. I'll talk to you all later. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye. There we
Thanks,
go.
David.
And